Hey Leo, welcome to December. I'm sure many of you are already aware that we have a solar eclipse that is starting off this month, and as a Leo, you are very sensitive to whatever happens to the sun. So while this is really rattling up a lot of intensity for the collective, this eclipse is especially important to you. Before we get too far into this video, my name is Michael. For those of you who are brand new to this channel, I want to welcome all of you back who are joining me again. I know it's been quite some time since I have been on YouTube and uploaded one of these videos. I'm super excited to see what we have in store for you. But before we dive in, I do just want to let you all know that I'm running my holiday sale. All of my services are currently 25% off on my website until December 21st. So if you are looking for a reading or Reiki session with me, now is a great time to book. I think that the new year is a great time to see what we have in store for us for the year ahead. So if you want to get a reading, now is the perfect time. All of my links are in the description box down below, as well as links for the astrology blog that accompanies this video. You can also find me on all of my other social media accounts and follow me there too. I do appreciate that. And let's see what we have in store for you for December. So the eclipse that we are starting off December with is actually the second eclipse in a pair. The first one happened in November on the 19th, which is also really leading into a lot of the astrology for this month. That eclipse was in Taurus, and that was really representing a beginning of a new cycle or a prelude into a new cycle. And the eclipse that we have on Friday in Sagittarius is representing the end of the previous cycle that we have been in for the past year and a half. So what has been happening for you in the past year, really paying attention to all of these themes that have come up for you specifically? There is actually a lot that has come up for you kind of in dating and passion. That is all being lit up in your 5th house. And there is still quite a bit of energy there because we are in Sagittarius season at the beginning of the month. For most of December, really, we have a lot of Sagittarian energy. And this is also being revealed to you with this eclipse over time. This is going to take about 6 more months to really wrap up this cycle. But I get the sense there has just been a lot of clarity that you are coming into, or December is a month that you are really achieving a lot of clarity. And I think you've already begun to do that. And the reason I say that is because I've already drawn the cards for you, Leo. And the very first card that I drew in the past was the 7 of Cups. And this can kind of represent things not being as they appear. And there was almost this fog or this veil that was obscuring things for you for some time. However, when I asked what was coming out of the situation, what you've gained from the past, you have the Sun and the 8 of Wands. So there really is a lot of clarity. There is a lot of truth that is coming in, and this might even be just like a spiritual aha or download, as some people refer to it as. There could have just been this big breakthrough moment for you. And again, the Sun is your card. The Sun rules over your sign. So there really has been this massive illumination that I think actually just happened quite recently. We did have a cazimi between the Sun and Mercury kind of starting off this month. A cazimi is a really tight conjunction, or basically when Mercury is in the exact position as the Sun or very near to it. And Mercury represents the mind, consciousness. So whenever a cazimi occurs, it's really bringing a lot of clarity. And for you specifically, this actually occurred in your 5th house, in the sign of Sagittarius, which is the house of dating, it's the house of creation, it's the house of pleasure. Anything that just brings joy or is supposed to be light in our life. However, I did clarify the 7 of Cups, what has been kind of clouded, and it was the 3 of Swords, which has to do with pain, with heartache. And I almost think a lot of you have been suddenly confronted with patterns that are no longer working with you in those areas of your life. When was the last time you created something? When was the last time you did something that you loved? How have things been going if you are single or if you are dating? How has that been for you experientially? What has been going on for you in that area of your life? That's really a big focus, actually. And we are wrapping up the eclipse cycle that has been occurring there. And again, very important because the eclipse involves the Sun. At least the solar eclipse does. And So there's been a lot of emphasis here for you over the past year and a half. So really looking at this time period, what has come to surface? What are things that you haven't seen until very recently? I do feel like, again, there is this emphasis on love with the Two of Cups showing up in the present. This was actually clarifying the Justice card, however. And Justice represents striking balance, being kind of moderate. And I actually think of Justice as head over heart. You know, your heart is supposed to inform your decisions, it's supposed to inform the things that you do. And, you know, you do have to commit to your heart here with the Two of Cups as well. But you need to also be analytical. You need to be logical. Or you need to be very, very objective in December. That is something I think you should be doing. I do see as a challenge for you in December, the Six of Cups is showing up. And the Six of Cups represents healing, especially past wounds. And I think some of you might actually be healing attachment styles. That might be something that you are paying attention to, especially with Venus going retrograde on the 19th. Venus represents love. It represents finances and stability. Venus is basically attachment. If we really boiled it down, that's kind of how I've been thinking of this planet recently. And it's the things that we are attached to, which often includes money. And it's also the people that we are attached to as well, which are often our romantic partners. And so there's a lot of emphasis really asking you to heal your attachments to things. And that's going to really be playing a role towards the end of December and into January, but we have been in this pre-shadow period for some time already. It actually began on November 19th, the same day as the eclipse. So really a lot of what is happening in December and really into 2022 was kind of preluded by this eclipse that we had in November. It was a very significant turning point. So whatever it was that started to kind of click for you, that's actually when I think you might have had some sort of revelation or something becoming clear. But the eclipses themselves always deal with an element of shadow. So it's things that are either being revealed or things that are being obscured and then revealed over time. And that's why the eclipses really have a large period of influence of 6 months. And so really paying attention to all of that over the next 6 months is super, super important. This Taurus energy for you is actually representing career. So there might be some changes in your career that you are planning on making, or something that is coming forward in that respect as well, especially if you are going in business with someone with this Two of Cups. And there might actually be some, I don't want to say legal trouble, but maybe some sort of bureaucratic issues or just bureaucracy in general. That might be something that you're dealing with the Justice card as well. And I feel like trying to find a peaceful resolution is really important with the Six of Cups. We do also have the Mother of Pentacles or the Queen of Pentacles in the future with the Three of Cups here. And this makes me feel like you need to... I feel like there's support coming from your friends and from support systems. It's important to tap into that, especially if you do have friends with earth sign placements. Those are people who are really important to connect to. Specifically Capricorn, could also be Taurus or Virgo as well. I feel like there's something here that I need to add. I actually want to shuffle. And let me look at my notes here. I feel like you also do need to commit to your passions more. It's kind of been something that's taken a back burner, actually, because we've had the South Node in your 5th house. And I feel like there's kind of this creativity that's coming back for you. And maybe that's the thing you're realizing you're kind of missing. Maybe you've been in sort of a brainstorming phase, and now all of a sudden you have this creative idea or just this project or an idea that feels like it could really bring you a lot of success. And I feel like it could happen quite quickly, actually, if that is the case for you, with the Sun and the 8 of Wands. So the card I pulled out for you, the Son of Swords or the Knight of Swords, Okay, this is talking about the Gemini full moon. That is going to be occurring on the 18th. And that Gemini full moon is occurring in your mind, in communication. There is a lot that's being communicated this month. I think that's really, really important. And I think that might even come through a friend, potentially. Could also come through a sibling with the third house influence there, for sure. Yeah. I do also just want to say, kind of extra to everything we've talked about so far, with the nodes shifting on the 22nd, the North Node is going to be entering into Taurus, and the South Node is going to be entering into Scorpio. There really is this focus on communication and the mind. And things are going to be a lot clearer for you than they've been. Or you're going to really feel like you need to clarify things. And I think with the Son of Swords, for some of you, there could be something with writing. Or if it's not a creative writing, it could be like journaling. And that's very helpful for you as well. I always think of that with the kind of court cards with the swords. I almost think of the sword as like the pen, because the swords represent the mind. I feel like you're also kind of getting yourself out of a situation too. Yeah, right as I say that, the Five of Swords. You really could be planning to walk away from a situation or leave a situation behind. And I think that's actually a pretty good idea, because there is something here about working in an environment that's more supportive. If this is a job, if this is a relationship, then you're kind of getting the support from your friends. And this could be both. This doesn't just have to be either or by any means. And some of you could be distancing yourself from an air sign. So Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, especially Gemini energy. But yeah, I feel like that could be kind of occurring with the full moon that we have on the 18th. And we do have a lot of focus kind of on your 8th house as well, because all of the Pisces energy that we are coming into, Pisces being kind of this creative and dreamy energy, we have Neptune going direct at the start of this month. And Neptune represents intuition. It kind of represents the veil, so to speak. And the 8th house represents things that we kind of keep hidden. It's almost like the house of taboos, because it's about sexuality, it's about death, it's about magic and occultism, kind of all that fun, exciting stuff. There's actually a lot of emphasis for you there, especially when Jupiter is entering the 8th house for you by the end of this month, especially if you are a Leo rising. This will kind of apply if you are a Leo sun and moon, sun or moon, but it's really going to be most applicable to Leo rising people. So really check your rising sign, really check all the specific degrees in your own natal chart where everything is occurring. But you will be feeling this, and I think even into 2022, I'm kind of getting the sense for you, there could be a period of sexual exploration. I kind of talked about that with actually a couple other signs too. I'm trying to remember who. That seems to kind of be a thread for 2022. And that kind of makes sense with the South Node in Scorpio as well, needing to change our views on sexuality and the things that we keep hidden. And actually, kind of just thinking about this too, there could be an interesting financial boon for you. There could be someone who's actually supporting you financially as well. because the 8th house also represents joint finances. Again, it's really a weird clusterfuck of a house. There's so much that the 8th house rules over. And this could also be referring to investments and assets into other things. So things like stock market or cryptocurrency especially comes to mind, especially with the current financial climate that we find ourselves in. There could be something worth investing there for you, or you could be seeing a return on an investment, or just gaining financial support. So really, really interesting there as well. And there's really powerful animal energy that I pulled for you too, with the dragon and octopus. The dragon in particular tells me that there is this inner fire that is growing again. And you might need to work with your solar plexus chakra, your sense of self and confidence. That is also what the dragon card represents in this deck. So really figuring out who you are. And I think you actually need to do that outside of the context of relationship. I feel like part of this hiding has been hiding from your own emotions. And maybe you've used other people, maybe you've used relationships, that could be friends, that could be romantic relationships, that could be family members, to really distract yourself from things that you need to heal that could be kind of coming to the forefront for you in December, especially if there are wounds around family or early childhood, or lineage or upbringing, anything that kind of connects to roots. Specifically, I'm getting with the 6 of Cups here. Really healing your roots, connecting to your roots, and potentially also uprooting yourself. I'm thinking of these suction cups here with the octopus and needing to kind of extract yourself from a situation. And that's interesting. I do kind of low-key get the sense of you, again, getting out of energy that is toxic for you or not working for you. That does seem to be a theme here with the 5 of Swords and the octopus. But I think it's useful to reflect for you where you might be holding on to things that aren't working for you. It's not just about other people here, to be honest. And with Venus retrograde happening in Taurus, that is your 10th house. A lot of you really could be reassessing employment, or there could even be changes in employment for you. And maybe that's what kind of this Justice card is representing. This sort of bureaucratic stuff happening. But I feel like you do still have allies. You still have people who are rooting for you and working for you. And advocating for you, I should say. I feel like there's one more message, actually. What is the last message for Leo? Or anything else I should clarify? Yeah, the Devil. Okay, there's a lot of shadow work that you're doing this month. Devil actually does represent Capricorn energy, which is the season that we are going to be in with December, with the second half of December. The sun is going to be entering into Capricorn, so there's a lot of focus on all things Capricorn for you, and specifically Capricorn falls in your 6th house. So again, this is about habits, okay? This is about establishing healthy habits this season. Really taking care of yourself, taking care of your health. There actually could be a bit of a health crisis as well. I'm so sorry. Okay, I just realized Venus is in Capricorn. It's not in Taurus. There is still some Taurus influence. There are still things happening with career that's kind of being unsettled. Those things are still true, especially with the eclipse that we had last month. That's why I say I'm an intuitive astrologer, by the way. Just kidding. But with this Devil energy, Venus is retrograde in Capricorn. I knew there was something I was, not getting. Thank God. Okay. So with Venus retrograde in Capricorn, there really is a lot of review on health and your routine. It does actually affect your work. The 6th house represents your tasks. The tasks you are doing in work might be changing or undergoing some sort of shift. It's like you might not lose your job with a sort of aspect like that. It's almost more like your responsibilities are changing. Maybe your title changes. That's sort of what I think of with the 6th house versus the 10th house. So there are still things happening in your career there. And that's really what this Capricorn influence is kind of shining a light on. But it is also your house of health, needing to take care of yourself. And again, maybe the ways you distract yourself from healing through other people, that could be really thematic as well. And I was also thinking, kind of looking at my notes, I don't know how I missed this. Venus is going to be forming conjunctions throughout the month with Pluto, and that's actually going to be happening in January as well. There's going to be the 3rd and final conjunction because Venus is going to go direct, and it's going to transit over Pluto on the 11th. And then, and then Venus will be retrograding on Christmas Eve, on December 24th, over Pluto again. And Pluto brings about transformation, and there might be something like a healing crisis that is triggered for you during this Venus retrograde. And that could be mental health, that could be physical health, might be both. There is that body-mind connection. So really paying attention to what your body is telling you this month, paying attention to that, paying attention to those cues, and really taking better care of yourself. With Neptune going direct at the start of this month, it is also a transit that I think of that can kind of trigger relapse or defaulting on old behaviors that don't serve us anymore. It's kind of likely around those times whenever Neptune is going direct and maybe even retrograde. But yeah, do your shadow work this month as well. Really peel back your subconscious. Really take a look there and see what's been going on kind of beneath the surface. That's also what I think of devil energy as well. It's kind of a misunderstood energy. Of course, again, you could be distancing yourself from energy that is not serving you, that is toxic. Those are also really important messages to keep in mind too, especially with this octopus. Sorry to kind of give you a whirlwind of a reading. It sort of feels like this Son of Swords, this Knight of Swords, kind of all over the place, but the astrology this month really is crazy, and the planets are all over the place, so there's all of these aspects that are really kind of playing into each other, but also happening in very different parts of our heart, in our house system, in our astrological systems. So really just kind of moving through this here, I think is super, super important. And kind of taking some time to breathe. Your energy might feel kind of all over the place, and again, it makes sense. We talked about the Cazimi with Mercury and the Sun at the very beginning. Mercury has kind of a high energy to it as well as the Sun, so combining those two, your mind just might be racing right now. So just try to relax. Try to focus on your healing. It feels like there is this healing crisis for sure with the 6 of Cups showing up as your challenge, and really take care of yourself. And those are all the messages that I have for you this month, Leo. I do hope that this video was helpful and resonant for you. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if it was. Let me know in the comment section down below what in particular resonated with you or what stood out to you. I'd love to hear it. I always think those synchronicities are super interesting. I know that this time of year is really challenging for many of you, and my heart goes out to anyone who is struggling or feeling lonely during this time of year. I'm wishing you a very happy, safe, and healthy December. All of my links, again, are available in the description box down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.